This is not a Mazda.
This is not a Mazda. This is a Toyota Cressida, which came again as a complete running stock vehicle. We do a lot of engine conversions, and this was a very different one. We hadn't done a Cressida before. We've done the early K70 DXs and Corollas and whatnot, but the Cressida was definitely a new one. So this is an SC Series 5 block, Garrett ball bearing turbo, simple package. It's all going through cert, road legal, full sleeper street car, 13B stage, so it's not going to be loud. It's just a real sweetheart, but we should still comfortably be 450, 500 horsepower at the wheels. And from the front, you can't tell it's even got a rotary in it. It just looks stock. It's a very unique build.
And is this the RX3 wagon you were talking?
Yes, this is a peripheral port, twin turbo, 808 wagon we're building. So what we've done is the hard part with these, which anyone will know who's had one, is the engine bays are tiny. And again, he wants to be able to put 4 guys in it, the chili bin in the back, and go to the beach on a weekend, but have 500 horsepower when he does it. And again, he wanted to be different. I wanted to do a single turbo, simple setup, proven, and he goes, nah, I just want to do it different. So this was the solution: twin turbo and a ton of fab. Should be a pretty tough package. So yeah, we've got Series 5 motor with two 200 series Borg Warners, twin gates, and a lot of pipe work. The biggest thing, which was the challenge with this, was the turbo manifolds, which you can't even see. No matter how hard you look down in there, you can't see how intricate the turbo manifolds and what we did there. And to be able to get the wastegate pipework and everything out, there's many hours have gone into that. But he wanted to be different. There's not going to be too many 808 wagons rolling around with this.
What's happening here? This looks like it's a drag car, or?
Beautiful pink thing. So yeah, another Mazda 3D3. Again, this is another 30B. The new housings which we had a look at in there, that's for this. So this is going to be the 30B peripheral port turbo, running another big Borg Warner. A lot simpler, obviously, with one turbo and a standard turbo manifold. And so what we did is we just wanted to create a lot of room. We cut the front end off, opened it all up, tubed it, and it's just going to be an event car. This guy just wants to be able to go down the drag strip, have a bit of fun there, but go to the cruise events, Rotary reunion, whatnot, track days, burnouts. Everyone loves burnouts, and just go to these events and hammer it. Again, running an R154 gearbox. It'll be a full FC motor, peripheral ported, and whole rear end tubbed. It's all been cut out, all been redone, caged. We just knocked up an aluminium dash for it the other day, which was still going to be completed and finish all the tunnel work off. But again, low as hell. He still wants to be this is its ride height too. So yeah, this will be a very, very cool car.
And I mean, speaking of which, is one we prepared earlier.
Yeah, here's another 323. You'll see a lot of them over here in New Zealand. They're a very, very popular rotary converted. So again, this is a semi-PP, so bridge ported, side plates, semi-PP peripheral port, FC motor, another Borg Warner, full link ECU. Just a tidy street car, big 450 horse. There's still a lot more tidying up and bits and pieces to be done in the engine bay, but it's mostly there. There's some quite intricate fab work in it in the car. The exhaust system is, obviously you can't see it here, but it's a bit of a work of art. Bit of a nightmare getting a full 3.5 inch down these tunnels and round custom jolt tank. So it's got a big fuel cell in the back, custom made, and then everything to clear, and again too with our certification rules, to get the clearances we need and to meet those specs can be quite tricky.
Well, I guess Mazda never really, back when they built these, they probably had like 60, 80 horsepower or something like that.
Exactly.
Pictured it having 500 horsepower. So.
Yeah, exactly. At the rear ends, this has got an upgraded B1600 rear end, coilover suspension right round. It'll be a solid build, solid little street car. And here's that RX-8 you were talking about. It's probably one of the more involved builds we've been part of. It was here for a whole year. It came in as a running car, Series 2 RX-8. Again, the customer just said, I want to be different. So the exhaust system was one of the things he wanted. He just wanted it different. So side exiting twin exhaust, runs a full 3.5 inch exhaust system, and you'll hear it soon. It's loud. It definitely turns heads. So we run twin 04 fuel pumps. It runs a separate fuel cooler because we took the factory tanks out, custom fuel cell in the boot. Fuel cooling issues are they're pretty up there. So runs a fuel cooler, all wired through the link ECU, comes on and off depending on temperatures, and keeps everything in check.
Can we have a look under the bonnet?
So it's an FD motor. We made a custom lower support frame for it. mounted it, still running the RX-8 gearbox at the moment, which has got to come out as he's just heard it. But it's just running. The motor hasn't even done 1,000 Ks yet. This is a little bit more serious than the stock Renesis engine.
They really do sit down and in there, don't
Well,
they?
yeah, the back plate and everything is under the firewall, and it's factory position, so that's mounted where the factory Renesis would be. The hard part beam is, as you can see, they're extremely narrow engine bay. They look wide at the top, but the chassis rails are really, really shallow. The hard part is definitely getting the cooling. Runs a huge radiator underneath, V-mounted, big spiral fan. No cooling issues at all there. Custom intercooler we made. This thing, it's a 48mm peripheral ported FD motor running a Borg Warner, and just a Link ECU. It's a real simple but very intricate at the same time. But we can start this one up, which is this one's a little bit more serious.
Oh, now that I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's a very, very unique package.
Now I can see a bit of work going on over here. This one's obviously a track car.
Yeah. So this is one of our customers, Scott Mills. So the car's been running a couple of seasons now with one of our packages in it. So he bought it as a what we used to run as the Pro 7 class, fixed motorsport class, rotary, injected, natural aspirated, and they were real basic. That was a very, very basic setup, very, very early Link ECUs, all had to have the same tune, basically, limited. He bought it, and he brought it to us, and he goes, I want more horsepower. So had a stock FD motor in it. We pulled that down, peripheral ported, which is the one that we were looking at inside. EFI hardware injection, and he ran 2 seasons solid with this untouched motor, and he cleaned up pretty well. He went really, really well. So it's in now for a full overhaul. Motor, gearbox, as you see behind us. Well, Chris is just battling away, but we're redoing the subframes, all the suspension, repainted the engine bay, and we're redetailing everything in a silver and black. It was matched gold and white. Yeah, we're basically giving it a full rebirth. New custom dash, so we made a new aluminium dash for it. All new ECU panel, fuse box panel. It's getting a full rewire and the latest G4X series Link ECU. It's got to have it going in 6 weeks, so.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of work cut out for us, but
A few late nights, a few pizzas.
yeah, exactly. And the biggest thing for him is he's chasing a bit more grunt. We're going to put a new exhaust system in it and just data, which the new ECU was good for. Now with the new one, he's got all the data logging, and we can literally do a run and see exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
The car runs pretty reliably. He literally just jumps in it and drives it and races it. He's very passionate. He races it at pretty much any event he can. He's there. Yeah, we're really, really proud to be sponsoring him and involved in this build. It's
And FCs are quite iconic now too. I mean, they're.
Well, yeah, I guess they were almost, to a period, like especially in New Zealand here, they were almost like the ugly duckling for many years, and they got tore apart, and pretty much motors and transmissions and everything else went into everything else. They got stripped, wrecked, brakes taken off them and wrecked. Now they're worth good money. They're really making a comeback too, and people are pretty passionate about them. This is actually a really nice car. Unfortunately, it's not all shiny and put together at the moment, but yeah, in a few weeks it'll be back together, looking glorious.
No, I can see it'll be quite a cool car. So what's hiding on the cover here? I spotted the headlights as I came.
So this is a BMW actually. It's just come back from paint recently. It's a really, really nice blue. New wheels will be getting fitted shortly. We've done full 30mm turbo package in it. So it's running a FC motor, FC Series 5, another Borg Warner, just an adaptation for the FD intake. Yeah, really, really tidy. Not really been in a rush, but there's not been sort of any expense spared. That's in the midst of wiring at the moment, so hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll have the last of the loom tidied up. Yeah, I think comfortable 400 or 500 horsepower on low boost and nice and reliable. And you don't see many of them, and not rotary converted, which is quite cool.
And now I've spotted over there under the hoist, you mentioned HP Cosmo before. So.
Oh yes, so this is my own Cosmo. Just been a little sort of a fill-in build that I've been doing. We got it a few years back and it was pretty run down. The guy had lost most of the parts. He pulled it, stripped it to paint it, lost all the trims, lost everything, which it's a Series 1 coupe as well, which is harder to get a bunch of parts for.
And factory 12A turbo as well?
Yeah, this one wasn't. So this is actually registered as a Mazda Cosmo, but came into the country as the piston FE motor.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's we've done the rotary conversion. I've got genuine 12A turbo rotary cross members and everything that I found for it. So yeah, once it's all completed, for all intents and purposes, it'll be pretty much the same.
These things are quite rare now, I guess. And I mean, you know, back from my days in Fast Forwards magazine, in those days, everyone knew Lance Warren's car back in the day. That was cool.
Pretty much one of the most iconic Cosmos out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
and it's good to see a few sort of still sticking around.
well, back then when when Lance had his car, I was just fascinated by I loved it. I mean, a lot of people don't. They think they're the ugly duck, like they are the uglier of the Mazda community.
It was like the businessman's car back in the day, wasn't it?
Kind of, yeah. They were, they had all the weird bells and whistles when you open the doors, and they did all the strange things. But they're actually a really cool platform. They've got good suspension and brakes, and a really good, tidy car that can handle a bit of grunt.
And just noticed as well, more 323s.
Yeah, well, there's actually normally a lot more. This actual workshop is quiet. The 323s are pretty strong here in New Zealand. It's a pretty popular car to do a rotary conversion on. So
Now, you mentioned fab shop as well. Like, so fab area, what have we got fab-wise?
So fab-wise, everyone here does fab work, so everyone's got their own workstation. Everyone gets involved in the exhaust, every part of that, the body fabrication, gearbox tunnel work, everything is basically done in-house. We just try and keep everything here. The metalwork side of things, we've got out the back, we've got a separate room out the back there. A couple of cars out there which we can scrape the dust off. So yeah, this is a little bit of the dirtier side of the workshop. We keep a couple of my own cars. This is the workshop drag car. We're gonna start. The Puerto Rican style of drag builds just fascinated me, and I absolutely love it. The slam style, it's old Corollas. They're still an affordable car to be able to grab and just cut up.
And this model style, these were available in New Zealand?
There was a mixture of NZ new and imports, yeah.
Yeah, because this is something that Aussies only ever really saw in magazines and on the internet in Puerto Rico with rotaries in them.
Yeah.
And as far as I remember, these were a rear-wheel drive.
Yep. So, factory rear-wheel drive up to, I think, don't quote me on it, like 84, possibly 85. I'm not a big Toyota nut. That's Chris. He's a big Toyota nut. I looked at it and I just love the Puerto Rican style. I thought these.
Oh, they're wild and crazy, aren't they?
It just tickled me a little bit. So I thought, let's just do one. We're not really heavily involved in the drag racing scene, so we thought, let's just get involved, and got the shell and started cutting it up. Again, we want to be a bit different, so we'll probably run a methanol 12A turbo. We try and keep it as clean as we can out of the swapping between the workshops. So some of the dirtier work gets done out here. It's still growing. We're still investing constantly in new gear as we're growing in the business and being asked to do more work. There's just always more requirements for more equipment. So yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, I've looked around here now, but I'm keen to hear a bit more about the business and you and so forth. But I did notice you sent me a picture the other day of your RX-7 and said we could go for a spin in it. So what's the chance we can do that?
Yeah, we can do that, definitely. Yeah, I think the rain's held off long enough, so we'll get some traction maybe. But it'll be entertaining if nothing else. But we can go and
Let's go warming up and
let's go have a nosy.